Bend and Scoop is brought to you by Harder Concepts, the best bars in North Dallas. Eat, drink, party harder.
I love Bend and Scoop, man.
You want to hear some music? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Well, today you're going to get all the music you want.
The request lines are now open. KGFJ Soul Radio.
Do it now, man.
Request lines are up.
It's open, man.
Got any Blue Oyster Cult?
No, I don't have any Blue Oyster Cult. I ate 34 pairs last time around. Where were you? I was that close to working at 7-Eleven, you know.
Pass the word along. Tell the men it's time to shoot the moon.
Shoot the moon!
Out there on the microphone. On the microphone.
Shoot the moon. Shoot the moon.
The attitude dictates that you don't care whether she comes, stays, lays, or prays. I mean, whatever happens, your toes are still tapping.
Hey, Strawberry! Oh, Strawberry. Hey, what's happening, man? How you doing? This is my friend.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What you looking at, man?
Oh, nothing. I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking at his neck, man.
Can you honestly tell me that you forgot the magnetism of Robin Zander or the charisma of Rick Nielsen?
That's kid stuff.
Kid stuff. Well, how about the tunes? I want you to want me. The Dream Police. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Build your muscles picking strawberries. You know, Bend and Scoop. Maybe I could get you a job with United Fruit. I got a buddy with United Fruit. Start with strawberries, you might work your way up to these goddamn bananas. When, boy, are you gonna get your act together?
We're creating a society of cell phone crazed, marijuana smoking zombies.
Coming to you not quite live from Lukewarm Tallboy Studios deep in the land of Gar, this is Bend and Scoop, the podcast featuring music, mirth, and minutia, focused on exposing artists you probably haven't heard, but should. I'm Bob, and I'll be your tour guide on this amazingly asymmetric auditory adventure as we journey to the center of your cochlea. Welcome to episode 66. Bend and Scoop is brought to you by Harder Concepts, the best bars in North Dallas. Visit one of the now 6 great Harder Concepts locations in DFW, including Scruffy Duffy's, Ringo's Pub, and the brand new Bottle Rockets, all at the Shops at Legacy in Plano, Saintsbury Tavern at Austin Ranch in the Colony, the Mucky Duck at Addison Circle in Addison, and Addison Ice House at Vitruvian Park in Addison. All Harder Concepts locations have great food, live music, an amazing beer and spirit selection, and a wait staff that's second to none. Whether you want to hang out with old friends or meet some new ones, there's no better place to get together and watch your favorite sports or hear some awesome tunes. Eat, drink, party harder. Joining us at the end of the show to play a round of Is That Your Vinyl Answer in the Groovin' After Party will be our special guest, Rob Thomas, the creator of Party Down, Veronica Mars, iZombie, and so much more. We spread the gospel of vinyl here at Bend and Scoop, so be sure to tell us all about your favorite neighborhood record store by posting to @BendScoop on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag SpinMomandPop. Our record store of the week is Jackpot Records in Portland, Oregon. You can follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Jackpot Records, and you can check out their website at jackpotrecords.com. Kicking things off is a band from Austin called the Crack Pipes. This is from their 2018 album Fake Eyelashes. It's called Little Cheetah.
Tell your mom, how your shake breaks every lie.
out in the pool. But he stopped the team, just chasing me around the ring. I shot up that wall, just searching for somewhere to cling. I saw blood dripping down his horn. I knew then that I had been roared. Well, anything's better than sitting in a Soviet mood. I spent 16 weeks just healing in an infirmary. And the camp G, that was quite a luxury. So doctor, please, give me some morphine. And go easy on me, buddy, 'cause the beast can't conquer me. You know I'll be there next year. I got nothing left to fear. And when you live inside, you can shed a couple of tears.
That was the Black Lips from Atlanta off their 2020 album Singin' a World That's Falling Apart. That one was Angolo Rodeo. How Many is a podcast where I get together with my friends Jesse, Junior, Gary, and Scott to debate a variety of pop culture topics, including movies, sports, TV, music, and more. You can follow How Many on Twitter at How Many Podcast and listen at howmanypodcast.com. From New York City, here's Fiona Silver off her 2017 album Little Thunder. This is Keep It Fresh.
I keep it fresh, yeah. I keep it fresh. I keep it fresh.
No, I didn't. Yes, I did.
You're a sick man, Owen. You need care, and I am taking you to the police.
Did you know that Hawaii was actually a series of islands that was all spit up by the same volcano? I never knew that.
You killed somebody. You killed a person. You're a murderer. You took a life.
You're right. You're right. I'm no good. How could I do that? I'm a sick cows!
She looks good, Swiss cheese, but your head full of holes. A pistol, sneaky tease, no man can ignore. A quick lap around the track, man, she's keeping you active. She looks good, the girl's attractive.
Diamond Nights from New York off their 2005 album Popsicle. That was The Girls Attractive. Plausible Deniability is a monthly podcast I co-host with my pal David Miller, which you can follow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Pause Deny. We post new episodes on the first day of every month. Here's Hornet Leg out of Portland from their 2013 EP Wrecking Ball. This is Cold Fire. From Melbourne, Australia, that was Possible Humans off their 2019 album Everybody Split. That one was called Lung of the City. Campfire Songs is a podcast where I get together with my buddies Todd, Jim, and Tom to share and discuss songs with each other. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Songs Campfire and give us a listen for more great music. From Austin, here's BBQT, also known as Gabby Bam Bam, off her 2021 EP called Jump Outs. This is the title track, Jump Outs.
gotta get it through your thick head. I may be a lot of things, but I am not a killer.
You don't have to blow her brains out or anything.
Thank you. That takes the pressure right off.
She's old. She's got a bad ticker. All you gotta do is jerk around a lot when you talk to her. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Lift.
Stop it.
Well, just meet her. Maybe she'd be somebody you'd like to kill.
Flashing down my alley. Now I'm coming at you like the boy next door. I think he's coming at me. Now I'm coming at you like the boy next door. Just you and me, the boy next door. Ay, 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 ay. Grooving down my alley. Now I'm coming at you like the boy next door. I think he's looking at me. Now I'm coming at you like the boy next door. Just you and me, the boy next door. Ay, 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 ay. Cruising down the alley. Now I'm coming at you like the boy next door. I think he's coming for me. Now I'm coming at you like the boy next door. Just you and me, the boy next door. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay.
From Chicago, that was White Mystery, named after the Airheads flavor, from their 2018 album Hellion Blender. That was Boy Next Door. Have you ever wanted to host a podcast? Well, all you have to do to join the Mike Hunt and host your very own episode of Assume the Juxtaposition is send me your topic idea to lukewarmtallboy@gmail.com. You can follow Assume the Juxtaposition on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at AssumeTJPod. And don't forget to stick around for the end of the show, when we'll be joined in the Groovin' After Party by our special guest Rob Thomas, the creator of Party Down, Veronica Mars, iZombie, and so much more. Up next are the County Liners. Originally from Olympia, Washington, now in New York City, their EP from 2017 was called Mary Jane Dunphy and Chris McDonald in the County Liners, and this is the song called Love Letter.
Do you growl when I come into your mind?
the Texas World Music Festival. Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent. Plus Van Halen and Eddie Money. With Head East, Charlie Daniels, Chris and Rita, Waylon and Willie, Hart, and many more. It's the biggest musical event Texas has ever seen. The Texas World Music Festival, July 1st to the 3rd at the Cotton Bowl. With 3 days of music, the world's largest movie theater, a battle of the bands, flea market, fireworks, laser show, a rock and roll midway, the zoo is your official information station for the Texas World Music Festival. So stay close and get in on every minute of the largest gathering of talent the world has ever seen.
That was Michael Beach from Melbourne, Australia, off his brand new album Dream Violence. That was Curtain of Night. If you want to listen to all this great music without having to hear me ramble between songs, be sure to check out our Bend and Scoop Spotify playlist. If we played it and they have it, you can listen to it there. And if you enjoy listening to what we do here on Bend and Scoop, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you get your podcasts. And if you really enjoy what we do here at Bend and Scoop and would like to show your support, please feel free to drop a little something in our virtual tip jar at patreon.com/bendscoop. I know it can be tough in these challenging times, but try to keep your cool so you don't do something rash like throw mama from the train.
Lion Pictures presents Mystery.
Did I come at a bad time?
Mayhem.
Oh, you're a good driver.
Mothers. Hawaii.
Aloha.
What?
Wiki wiki.
And more.
You lied to me.
Danny DeVito.
Hi, I'm Owen.
Billy Crystal.
That's it, and that's all.
Throw Mama from the Train. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, December 11th at a theater near you. Check newspapers.
Whoa, Danny DeVito.
People listen to people. So listen, people.
Welcome to the Groovin' After Party. Come on in and pour yourself a cold one.
Joining me now for our Groovin' After Party here on Bend and Scoop is the creator of Veronica Mars, Party Down, iZombie, and many other fantastic shows, books, and so much more, the great Rob Thomas. Welcome, Rob. We're really glad to have you here.
Thanks, Bob. I'm glad to be here.
So, Rob, this podcast focuses on spreading the gospel of vinyl by really increasing awareness of all the great mom and pop record shops out there. And you and I were very fortunate to have spent a significant chunk of time and money back in the 80s at Sundance Records in San Marcos, which was run by the late, great Bobby Bernard, his wife Nancy, and our good friend Greg Ellis. So what was it about Sundance you think that really made it such a special place?
Well, I think those three people you just mentioned, I mean, it's just the place where I hung out, where I wanted to go when I had money to spend or when I didn't. They made me feel like they made many people feel just incredibly welcome there. And I mean welcome when my favorite band was Styx. I was not cool when I walked into that store. They never made me feel uncool. You know, there's that scene in High Fidelity where John Cusack is running the record store and some middle-aged man comes in to buy a Stevie Wonder record, and all three of the music store clerks make fun of him and try to rip him a new one for his... I mean, it's not even that Stevie Wonder was the problem. It was the wrong song. Like, if you're going to get Stevie Wonder, this middle-aged man was picking the wrong Stevie Wonder Wonder, and they just ripped him to shreds. And that was never the vibe at Sundance. They wanted you to leave happy.
Yeah, definitely. Although I will admit, Greg would poke fun. I mean, I remember one time I picked up that REO Speedwagon best of, I think it was called The Hits, and the letters HITS were kind of all falling on the side. And he said, really, it should be the shit. Like he said, that was, he would always crack wise like that. So, and of course, mentioning Greg, I was able to get over, he had a store there in Austin here until just very, very recently called Groover's Paradise. And I got to go up there a couple times. Did you ever get a chance to make it by there in Austin?
I did. I made it there a few times, but the most recent purchase that I made from Groover's Paradise was this Christmas. I had Greg put together a selection of vintage comedy albums for my daughter, who likes that sort of thing. So there were like Smothers Brothers and May Nichols records and a handful of other things that I thought Greta would find amusing that Greg helped me put together. So I haven't lived in Austin for a while, but I actually did my shopping there this past Christmas.
Yeah, it was a great place. I'm sad that he closed down. I really enjoyed getting to go in there and talk with him, and hopefully he's doing well, and maybe he's going to set up online or something. But yeah, he's always been really great to talk to, and just the vast wealth of information that he had, knowledge that he has, and that, Bobby and Nancy too, they really just knew so much.
Yeah.
So speaking of music, Rob, your bands, Public Bulletin, Jesus, and Black Irish, they really made waves on the Austin music scene back in the late 80s and early 90s. What were some of your fondest memories of those times?
Well, you're being very kind to say we made waves. We did exist in the Austin music scene in that time period. And we certainly, had a great time. I spent nearly a decade of my life doing this thing that I was not inherently very good at. I really wanted to be Elvis Costello. Like the lyrics were the thing that I would do or thought I could maybe do all right. Other than that, it was just like as a bass player playing eighth notes on the root. I could play essentially Tommy Stinson bass lines. So even though it was 10 years of futility in some ways, it's a decade I would never trade. I mean, I had the time of my life riding around America in a van with 5 of my best friends. The thing about being a writer is no one shows up on Friday and claps for you. I will tell you this also, when I moved to Los Angeles, when I was 28, I left the band and moved to LA. I did not know how to talk to girls for another 5 years. Like my entire 20s, my only opening was, hey, I'll put you on the list this Friday. And when I moved to LA and no longer played in a band, I did not know how non-musicians ever talk to girls. I moved here with 2 friends, one of them who was in the band, and we moved the same year that Swingers came out. And if you can remember how sad and pathetic Jon Favreau was, sitting in those bars, unable to talk to girls, that was us when we were like that group without Vince Vaughn, going to those same clubs and sitting by ourselves nursing drinks all night.
Well, fortunately, you ended up finding your forever plus one, so you didn't have to worry about the list anymore.
That is true.
At that point. Rob, let's learn a little bit more about your own personal musical journey. And we're going to play around here of something we like to call, is that your vinyl answer? And we'll start off, if you recall by any chance, what was the first record back when you were a kid that you remember buying with your own money?
Carry On My Wayward Son, the 45 by Kansas.
Okay.
That was right about the time I moved to Texas, like 1975. I think the first full album I bought, and this one I'm actually proud of, was Heart Dreamboat Annie.
Oh, yeah. That's a really good one. Yeah. And hey, nothing wrong with Carry On Wayward Son. It's a classic rock classic.
It is a classic rock song. There is a bit of ridiculousness in the middle musical break in that. It becomes a little art rocky as I listen back on it, but I love a quality hook. And by the way, I listened to a couple of your shows. I sampled them, and you seem to be a big fan of a tasty power pop hook. That seems to be your bread and butter here.
Oh yeah, I definitely have a type when it comes to music, so to speak. It's just kind of evolved over years, but like you said, I mean, a lot of it definitely originates with guys like Elvis Costello. Certainly, I was thinking I probably have more of him in my collection than anybody else. So Rob, do you remember where you bought the Dreamboat Annie record, and do you still have it?
This is going to be so embarrassing. I have none of my vinyl. It got wiped out in a flood in my lime kiln house.
Oh my God, lime kiln.
Yes, and I had 30 Kinks albums. Like there were certain bands where I was a completionist, and all just sort of destroyed. The records were still playable, just all the album covers were wrecked. I bought the Heart Dreamboat Annie visiting my grandparents at the Seattle Tower Records.
Oh, okay.
I got to walk down and do that. And then the reason I'm pretty sure, Carry On My Wayward Son, I bought a 45. The year we moved to Texas, we lived in this little apartment complex on Old Torf, and there was a record store down in that little section, Old Torf and South Congress, where I got that.
Yeah, Austin's always had a ton of great record stores, and they still have quite a few. I got down there not too long ago. I love going. And fortunately, Dallas, where I am now, we've got quite a few up here as well. It's really been making a
land
resurgence.
of Gar.
Yes, the land of Gar, Garland, indeed. Yes, God's suburb. So what would you say, Rob, would be the artist that you own the most albums by? Obviously, you don't have the vinyl anymore, but any format, even if it's digital, who do you own the most?
I would still say it's probably the Kinks.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's cheating to say U2 because I got that when Apple did that huge promotion where they released every single thing U2 had ever recorded as part of a downloadable set. I have that, and that is an absurd. I mean, there's great stuff in it, and it was like everything they had ever done, every live concert, every B-side, every long play dance mix is on that. But I feel like I shouldn't count that because I didn't sweat the collection of it.
Sure.
The Kinks probably feels more of a legitimate answer to that question.
Which Kinks album is your favorite?
Maybe Village Green. I'm a big Muswell Hillbillies fan. Those would be near the top of the list.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, those are great. I have a soft spot for later era Kinks as well, 70s and 80s. Give the people what they want. That was our big high school record, Destroyer. I mean,
that is the one that got me hooked. I saw the Kinks play Destroyer on that short-lived answer to Saturday Night Live called Fridays.
Yes.
The Kinks were on it. They did Destroyer. And I was like, oh my God, who is that? Not even knowing they were ripping themselves off, like it's a straight rip off of All Day and All the Night, I think. But yeah, I ran out to get that. And that Give the People What They Want, I wore out in high school. And the song that still kind of shines from that for me is Better Things.
Yes.
Like that song will still... can still make me very happy today.
Yeah, that's an excellent song. I'm glad you mentioned that one. I was thinking the same thing. And I think if I recall correctly, the Pamela Adlon show that was one of the reasons she used that for the name of the series, even though that's not the theme song, that she actually was thinking of what name to use. And that song kind of came to mind when she was coming up with the title.
I had not heard that. That makes me happy.
I love that show, by the way. That's a fantastic show. Rob, is there a specific album that you've purchased more times over the year than any other? Various formats, whatever.
Yes. I wore out copies of Tattoo You. Side 2 of Tattoo You is the sexiest side of album music ever. Like that whole second half of that record is pretty great. Hold on, did I say I'm talking about the album with Start Me Up is song one.
Tattoo You.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tattoo You, yes. For
little TNA.
I thought I had said Some Girls.
No, Little TNA, Waiting on a Friend. Yeah, there's
Waiting on a Friend.
Hang Fire.
Tops.
Yeah.
Heaven. Yeah.
Neighbors, wasn't that on that also? Yeah, it's a great record.
Yeah.
And I think it was a bunch of outtakes and B-sides from Some Girls. Like, who does that?
Which speaks to how mighty that Some Girls session must have been, because Some Girls is probably my favorite Stones album, but side 2 of Tattoo You is the one that kept making that was my going to bed music. I could just put that on nightly, and
Awesome. Well, Mick and Keith, certainly thank you for your many purchases over the years. For sure.
My money.
Rob, who do you know that has the biggest vinyl collection? And I'm sure where you are and the folks that you've worked with over the years, you probably have quite a few friends and acquaintances that have a large vinyl collection.
I don't know if I know the answer to that question.
Or what about any of the guys from the bands back in the day? Charlie and Greg and Joe and those guys, any of them have a huge vinyl collection?
No, I mean, we all had sizable, but they were all pretty equal. My buddy Kevin Carney, who plays in the Wannabes in Austin, has a pretty significant record collection. You know who I think? Brent Grulke, the former director of South by Southwest, who died way before his time in his mid-50s, but for a period had the greatest job in America, being the musical director for South by Southwest. And I went over to his place once because he really wanted us to stop and think about Joni Mitchell for once. So it was a whole night of Joni Mitchell. And yeah, that might be the largest I've ever seen. That occupied an entire wall.
It certainly would make sense that he'd have one that big, the guy running South by Southwest. What would be your favorite mom and pop record store? Obviously, Sundance, I would think all time probably. Is there any since then that you've enjoyed over the years out there in California maybe? Or
no, and it's why I feel like a fraud being on your show, is because I made the switch to digital and did not look back. And so, Amoeba Records is a pretty amazing record store here in Los Angeles. I've been there, a dozen times, but I do most of my music procuring now through Apple Music. The thing that I will say that I have done, and this has been, I am now that iTunes has gone to high res music, I have all the gadgetry here. If I could show you,
sure.
To now take advantage of, because you had to learn all this stuff to know. Like, I knew that digital music did not sound as good. I just loved having all of it in my pocket. And now I realized once that all these, Tidal was probably the first to do it, but these music services that were now streaming and allowing you to download high res audio, which does sound great, but you have to, none of your Bluetooth headphones are able to have the bandwidth to use it. So now you have to get a DAC, a digital audio converter. I have all this. My wife laughs at me because now I've gone back to all these wired headphones that I'm using now, because I'm finally, after a 20-year hiatus, getting back to high quality music.
Awesome. And I've been digital up until just a couple of years ago. I finally was like, okay, I want to get a turntable, and I started rebuilding the vinyl collection because I'd cleared it all out when CDs came out. I was like, okay, I'll just sell all these records and replace them with CDs because that's the wave of the future.
Yeah.
Never should have done that. At least yours was not a voluntary loss. It was a catastrophic flooding situation, you know?
That's true.
Yeah. Last question for you, Rob. What is your all-time favorite cover song?
Sonic Youth covering the Carpenters song, Don't You Remember You Told Me You Love Me, Baby? Superstar.
Superstar, yeah. Yes. Superstar.
It is, and the creepy thing about it is that, and the thing that kind of, I love this cover version of this song. Everyone should go look it up. But in the movie, the Diablo Cody movie,
Juno?
Yes. The male lead plays
Jason
Michael
Bateman.
Jason Bateman is the creepy older dude hitting on the young girl, and he plays her the Sonic Youth cover of Superstar as he's trying to seduce her, thereby making it creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
Thereby, like taking one of my favorite songs and sort of making it, you know, the mark of a predator.
Yes, very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. So, Rob, before we wrap up, tell everybody what you've got in the works. I'm hopeful one of these projects is the long rumored Party Down revival.
Well, we are doing a Party Down revival, and that's going extremely well. We've turned in the first script of that. That's written by one of my buddies and partners. We all sort of broke the season together, and then John, who writes most of the scripts, churned out the first episode. It's a fantastic script. We're hoping we're shooting that early in 2022, but in television, there's no guarantees of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're very hopeful that we'll be able to. One thing, wrangling those 7 cast members together all at the same time is going to be tricky, but we think we've got a line on being able to do that. So that's very exciting. I did just finish a spec script set in 1982, small town in Texas called St. Mark. That's going to be very familiar.
I kind of know where you're going with this, buddy. Yeah. I know what that in Spanish what that is translates to.
Yes. So that spec script I'm really excited about, and it's about being 17 in 1982 in a small town just south of Austin.
Possibly somewhat slightly autobiographical. Maybe just
it's actually not. Even though the kids in it are partying at 5 Mile Dam in one section in it, but it is not my story at all. There are a couple of reasons I wanted to set it in 1982. One of them has to do with the changing of marijuana laws, and I need the marijuana laws from the early 80s rather than current day, even though I realize in Texas it's illegal either way, but it has more to do with the mores. And then the other reason is now at 55, 56 in a couple days, I feel like I don't have those teenage voices of modern America in my head the way I used to when I was teaching high school and writing my early novels. And so it felt safer to write teenage characters from my youth than from today.
Now, is your daughter in her teens yet or not?
She
quite?
is. She's 16 and my son is 13. So I now have 2 teenagers at home.
Yeah, you've got 2 consultants on pro bono right there in the house.
That is
just,
true.
Run everything past them and get the validity there. Well, that's fantastic, man. I'm really excited about that, both of those projects. And I'm glad you mentioned about the birthday. I was going to wish you a happy early birthday.
Thank you.
You and my mom share a birthday. So I always remember,
Well,
that.
we share a happy birthday for
Yes, for sure. So Rob, I can't thank you enough for having done this. Really glad that you were on, and we'll be looking for St. Mark and the Party Down revival and anything else you got coming out down the road.
The name of that show, by the way, is Becoming Van Duran. It could not sound more early 80s than it does.
I love that. It's like Van Halen, Duran. It's perfect. I love it.
That is how the name comes about. Is the kid chooses a name based on the T-shirts he's flipping through at Sundance Records.
Oh, awesome!
So yeah,
I cannot wait.
Cannot
wait. So this is you're writing this as a show, right? Not as a movie.
It is a spec pilot for a TV series. So the idea would be, and everything is a long shot in Hollywood, but it would be the first episode of a television series. Veronica Mars was a spec. I didn't sell the idea first. I wrote the script first and then sold it. That's what I'm attempting to do with this as well.
Well, it sounds like, and I certainly don't know enough about it to make this type of connection, but it almost sounds like another iteration of a similar concept to Freaks and Geeks, which, Hollywood realizes they pulled the plug on that too soon. So maybe that'll be beneficial. It's like, hey, now we got another shot at it.
Boy, that show is one of my favorites of all time. There's little that makes me happier than Freaks and Geeks. And there's a conversation that the guys, that James Franco and Seth Rogen and blanking on the third guy,
Martin Starr. No. I know who you're talking about. Jason Segel. Jason
Segel. They're having in this car and they're stopped at a stoplight, and those kids were kind of metalheads, but Joe Jackson comes on the radio, and James Franco and Seth Rogen are kind of sneering at this new wave shit, and Jason Segel in the back says, "No, wait a minute, man, listen to this bass player." And Graham Maybe, who plays bass for Joe Jackson, is like, absolutely one of my heroes. It is a conversation, I swear to God, we had in my car in high school. Yeah, that show hit very close to the bone in a pretty great way.
Yeah, those types of details, I love those as well. My wife and I recently rewatched that. It had been a few years since we had seen it, and Hulu had reposted them. So I was just enjoyed that so much going back through and watching that. That was such a great show. But yeah. So
a fave of mine.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Rob, we'll talk to you again soon, buddy.
All right.
Thanks so much for doing this.
Really good talking to you, and congratulations on the show.
Thanks, buddy.
Don't worry about it, guys. It's all in the mix.
Bye-bye, lardass.
Bend and Scoop is a production of Lukewarm Tallboy Studios.
We will return tomorrow morning with the sun.
Good evening, and have a good life.